Today's news, Blackpink Lisa begins crying on camera during recent interview.
The season of Korean award shows is in full swing, and at the Golden Disc Awards recently in Seoul, Blackpink's Lisa's parents were in attendance, and it sort of changed the atmosphere for her, I think.
Yes, it definitely did, in a good way.
She was asked afterwards about her parents being in attendance for the first time. First time, I think. I'm not actually fully sure about that, but first time recently watching her perform live in front of a large audience, and she responded. She was very happy that they were there, and a few other small things, and thanked them in Thai. She got very emotional.
She definitely did, and I don't blame her at all. In fact, just watching the video, and thinking about her and her experience itself brought me to tears.
It's very, very hard to live far away from your parents. I think you and I both have some experience in that department. She has been living far away from them for a long time, but she moved away at a young age.
Yes, she was 14 years old when she moved away from Thailand to become a YG trainee. And she is the first non-Korean official YG trainee.
And she is the first official non-Korean YG artist.
The earliest I ever moved away from my parents was when I was 18 years old. I moved to college, but I only moved 3.5 hours away. I didn't even change countries. What about you?
I moved 2 hours away. So yeah, pretty much very similar circumstances.
Going to college when you're 18 is actually a relief in America for a lot of people, including myself. I was happy to get away from my parents. This is a very different situation. If you're 14 and you go to a different country, that's got to be very intimidating and kind of frightening.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be definitely part of it. She only got to go back and travel back to Thailand and spend time with her family during holidays. And also, there's a whole... She changed her name, folks. A lot of people do this in entertainment and K-pop, but she changed her name. She's living in another country, probably a completely different language than she's used to. She's learned English and Japanese as well. She's working her butt off. She's doing all kinds of things in a very intense environment. I can imagine that that was very overwhelming.
It's almost like her life isn't her own, or kind of isn't her own, because she started all of this hardcore training and working towards being a singer and a dancer and a famous K-pop idol at such a young age that your life is swarming around you and you sort of don't know what to think. Becoming an adult is part of figuring out what you like, what you don't like, what makes you happy, what makes you sad, and all the things that become your identity if you are thrust into a certain position at such a young age, which 99.99% of all of us who walk on this earth don't know about. It's going to be a lot more challenging for you to hold all of the emotions inside that you have to hold in if you're a K-pop idol, because you're supposed to be this sort of perfect image. And I always respect people who are able to hide what they're feeling inside, because I'm one of those people that needs to vent all the time, as you know. You are the opposite of me. I really respect you in a lot of ways, and because we're together a lot, I do know how you feel. You're able to sort of open up to me. I imagine Lisa's similar to you in that she just holds in so much stuff. Crying just a little bit on camera reveals so much, even though it was only for about 10 seconds.
Yeah, it was very short, but it was definitely intense. I think about her experience. I mean, she was a very young girl who was interested in dance, and she loved to dance, and she sent in an audition tape, and she got chosen as first place out of like over 30 finalists for this training program in Korea in 2010. So she went in 2011 when she was 14. She spent 5 years training. She's still the youngest in the group. She's in this overwhelming experience. Blackpink, they've been working really hard. She was part of a dance group before, actually with Bam Bam of GOT7.
Right.
They were in a dance troupe together. But now she's finally in Blackpink. They're very successful, but she's working so hard and thinking about maybe even the people that she grew up with. I mean, I'm sorry, but from the experience that I had traveling over in Thailand, I can see where for some people it's really hard to have a really good life. And it looks like she's kind of set. She's getting success. She's finally kind of made it, if you will, as a K-pop star. They won the Best New Artist Award at the Golden Disc Awards. Her family is there. She can see them in person. They're in Korea. She can dance for them. She can perform for them. It's all so freaking emotional. emotional, and it just makes me emotional thinking about it because she can perform, like, she doesn't actually get to see her parents that often, or
hardly
her
at
family.
all.
Exactly, but they could see her in K-pop, and now she can actually see them and perform for them live, and it just, the feels, y'all.
I can only imagine how emotional she got after the cameras were turned off. She got to go and hang out with them and be with them, and she doesn't even necessarily really know them. She was plucked out of Thailand at 14. I mean, when she was selected, she was the only person at that competition that was selected by YG in 2010. I think a lot of people know that, but it's still very important to note that she was the only one. So she was head and shoulders better than everybody else. Nobody else got selected. Nobody else from Thailand gets to be a YG employee and a superstar K-pop idol like Lisa. And there's something about making it in Korea over in Asia that is really special. You and I have a friend who's from Kazakhstan. He goes back and forth because he now works at Samsung. He came through my class and we knew him at Kyunghee University. His life completely changed because he had a little bit of success in Korea. I don't think he could have ever imagined a life that good if he hadn't been able to go to Korea. So Korea ends up becoming this catalyst for other people outside of Korea, including people like you and I who went there, and now we get to talk about this sort of thing here in our own living room.
I think that the other thing to note is that she's very structured, on cue. She's very perfect and precise in everything until they mention her family, and then she crumbles and breaks down. Because I know for me, I kept myself so busy so much of the time that when I actually stopped and thought about my family when I was over in Korea and far away from them, it just made me so emotional. And even like when I went to visit them, like I would just see my dad and start crying. I would cry every time I would say goodbye to him. And I think that it's very hard to be a young K-pop idol, but it's especially hard to be an international K-pop idol. And I think that's something that kind of gets overlooked in the whole, you're my idol, and I expect this from you, and I expect that. And I think that it just shows she's still just a young 18-year-old girl, 19-year-old girl who's missing her family, who's working really hard on her dream. And I think that's a really beautiful thing, and it shows so much about the humanity behind people and the humanity behind Lisa. And I just wish I could give her a big giant virtual hug.
Comments about Lisa showing her emotion in a way that you don't normally see from a K-pop idol.
What are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on international K-pop idols? Are you a huge fan of international K-pop idols? Are they your favorites? Do you like the Blackpink? Are you a huge Lisa fan?
Are you a Blinky? Is that what it's called, or Blinks?
Blinks.
Blinks. Are you a Blinks? Comments down below, let us know, and click the like button right down there. Thank you so much for supporting us. Click the bell for notifications. Check out the link to K-Gal, and don't forget to subscribe for more Hallyu Back news. That's it. We're out of here. Hasta luego.
Bye!